So welcome to another wargame review from theplayersaid.com. My name's Alexander, and I'm here on my own doing another short solitaire review. And we're doing it on today, it's called Roman Disaster at Teutoburg, and this is, or Teutoburg if you're going to be like that. It's designed by Pascal Tupi, and it is the second volume in the Good to Go series from C3i magazine. So C3i magazine, if you don't know, it's a big wargaming magazine. It's an annual, one a year, and it's produced by Roger McGowan at RBM Studios. Roger McGowan, if you don't know, there's a lot of the artwork and there's a lot of graphic design for GMT games. And as such, you'll see in here lots of content that relates to GMT. You get some non-GMT content in there too, but you'll get things from a lot of the kind of big names at GMT from their designers. You get a lot of extra scenarios for games you already have, errata counters, things like that. So there's a ton of good content in here anyway, but in the past couple of years, what they've started to do is they've put in these tiny little kind of solitaire games, and here's just some history on the back for this particular battle, but this is the game. You play on this board, and these are the rules, and kind of like little play aid with the events. That's the game. You do have in this one, over the first game, a bunch of counters. That is the kind of the Germanic tribes, and then there's some events in there that you're going to draw from a cup, and that's how they kind of come onto the board. And there's a couple of kind of administrative markers. But like I said, it's a solo game. You're the Romans trying to defend. You're trying to form this kind of battle line as there's waves and waves of these Germanic tribes and warriors coming at you. There's different. They have different dice values. You're chucking a bunch of dice that you take actions from, and then they roll a dice to see which ones of their guys activate. There's a couple leader counters that almost always activate, and they can do cohesion damage or morale damage, or they kind of lock some of your dice with the damage that they do, things like that. And so this game, especially compared to the first one, Firebase Vietnam, has a little more meat on the bones. Now, I'm not going to pretend that this is some deep, massive, rich, complicated game, but I did find this one probably more enjoyable, a bit more beefy, a bit more meaty. You have a few more meaningful decisions in it. And I did really, really enjoy it. It's very, very difficult as well. And I do feel like this one had a really cool kind of arc to the story where the enemy grows and grows and grows, and you're like, I'm doing okay, and you just get overwhelmed. It's a really, really fun little story, and perfect size to play kind of on a lunch break. Another thing that I will say is that this game takes a little bit longer than the first volume in the series, like a 10-15 minute game. This one's more like 20 to 30 minutes. There's a bit more decision space, maybe a little bit more to think about, and the game is just a little bit, well, it can be crushingly quick, I will say that. But if you're going to play through it, it can get, get into the 30-minute range. There's just more enemies to kind of fight through and to try and survive if you're going to make it to the end of the game or win. So that was something that I kind of appreciate, that they both are a little bit different in that sense. One of them is very much a kind of a 10-15 minute filler. This one, you can dedicate a little bit more time to it. Again, not going to overstay its welcome. This kind of reminds me, mechanically a little bit different, but it fills a similar type of niche to something like Table Battles from Hollandspiel, where, the games don't take particularly long, and there is good decision space within that, but it's not like, it's not a 50-page rulebook where you're just going to melt your brain with some complicated game. You're just immediately playing it, and you're kind of in there, and it tells a story that it's going to tell. So I appreciate that very much. What I'll do, after I've waffled enough, is I will show you how this works, and then we'll just wrap up with a few of my final thoughts. So here's a look at the board, and I say board, like, this is it, right? It's just a piece of paper, and we have all the rules here. There are 2 tracks. We have the morale track, and so the morale starts the game at 8, and the cohesion track starts at 4. Cohesion, think about it as the integrity of your battle line, and morale is the morale of your troops before they get scared and want to break. And that you have a cup that is full of chits, and these chits are Germanic units that are going to come onto the board, and they're going to come at you, and you're trying to defend this line, basically. So to set up, you're just going to draw 3 units, and units always come out on the 3 row of the track. So we have these 3 units, and those are not good ones. Okay, great. And you'll notice that the units themselves, we'll just show a couple of examples here. The units, they have on them... Can we get it in focus? No, we can't. Okay, that's something that we'll have to work on. Is it changing focus? Maybe? Okay, well, my apologies if this isn't coming out very clearly. We're all trying on this one. So, they have dice symbols on them. If you roll those dice, those units activate to attack, basically. This guy has a red D. There are ones that have the red M on them, or a red... Yeah, and I think it's the Ds and the Ms. Those units do dice damage. They lock dice, or if it's a D or if it's an M, they do straight morale damage. Normally you have to go through the cohesion before you start taking morale damage. And then we have here this guy who does that morale damage. He is what's considered a leader, and that's because he has a 2 with a plus. He hits on a 2+. As opposed to this guy, he hits on a 3 or a 4, or a 1 or a 3. So the leaders are very strong. So you start with 3 guys set up, and then you're just going to roll your dice. Oh, the other thing that we're going to do, having picked our 3 guys, you then put the 12 event chits into the cup, and you shake them all up, mix them all up. And so some events might come out when you're drawing those. What you're going to do then is you're just going to cycle through the game by rolling 6 dice, assigning them to the actions that you need, resolving all of those, and then dudes are going to come out, and then they're going to attack. And then you just keep going again and again and again, basically. So, we roll our 6 die, and then we just kind of put them out to see what's going on here. 1s in this game, very bad. Wow, we rolled horrendously. This is one of the worst rolls you'll see, especially early in the game. So the 1s go into this chaos box. If ever there's 3 dice in there, you just draw an extra guy, so that's bad. And these are locked in here until they are removed. So these 3 dice can be used to put cohesion back to 4. Well, cohesion's already at 4, so it's useless. And this 4, all action dice from chaos go to ready for battle. So that's actually good. So these go back to ready for battle. So that was actually good. So those get used. These ones don't do anything. So you can decide to leave one here for later on. But in this instance, we'll probably just roll them all again next time. So really we didn't do... That was an awful roll. Nothing actually happened. But we don't have anything locked here, which is good. We'll have all of our dice available to roll next time. So what we're then going to do is we're going to draw 2 counters from the draw cup. And the first one, you do them one at a time. So the first one is an event. So you have event number 10. And you look at event number 10, it's no quarter. For each cohesion you voluntarily lose, inflict 1 hit to a German tribe counter, but not to a leader. So we'll do this. We'll do it to this guy because we don't have our dice locked. So we're going to inflict 1, 2. Is that what we said? Yeah, for each cohesion you voluntarily lose 1 hit to a German tribe counter. Yeah. So we're going to lose a couple of cohesion to do that. I think that's worth it. So he's dead. Once they're dead, they don't come back into the game. Oh, and the other one we pulled was at event number 12. That was very lucky in a way. Charge. For each ready for battle die you place in the chaos box, eliminate 1 Germanic counter from row 1 or gain 1 morale. Row 1 is here. We're in row 3, so we can't do that. Our morale's full, so we're just not going to do that. Okay, great. So we pulled our 2 chits, then we're going to roll a Germanic die, and so in this instance we'll just roll, they're like, oh, have a red one, we'll just roll this die. I rolled a 4, so any counter that has a 4 in it will attack. And what they do is they do 1, so this guy right here has got a 4 in him, he does 1 cohesion damage, and then he moves 1 step forward. The leader always hits on a 2+, but he's got the red M, so he does auto morale damage. He bypasses the cohesion, does morale damage, takes a step forward. The rows are important because if these guys get to row 1, instead of inflicting 1 damage when they're activated, they inflict 2, and you will very quickly crumble. So we've done all of that. That's the turn. So then we're just going to roll our action die again. Oh my gosh, these are just the worst rolls. So these are both locked. We have a 2, we have a 3 and a 4, and we have a 6. So what we're going to do, so 2 means we can add 1 to our morale, so we could recover our morale. A 6 means that all action dice, so 6 means that you can change any die to any other die. 3 resets our cohesion, 4 unlocks these. So here's what we're going to do. Adding 1 to our morale's pretty high. I think for the moment, we're going to try to, well, no, it doesn't make that much of a difference, does it? So we're definitely going to spend our 4 to recover these. We're definitely doing that. You don't want to have guys locked in here. You want to stop this chaos from triggering as much as possible because you just get overwhelmed with more units. Our 6, we could change 1 die to one other face. This 3, cohesion back to 4. We'll do that. So the question is do we want to raise our morale 1, or do we want to, we could spend this to convert this to something else. We could change it into a 5, and then we could inflict a hit. And a hit just moves a guy back. If we move them back far enough, then they go off the board. But that's, that takes a lot. So is it better to do that, or is it better to get our morale, from which we had changed this to a 5? Yeah, sure. We'll inflict the hit, and we'll inflict it on this guy. So now that that's done, we once again draw 2 chits from the cup for the Germanic tribes. And the first one is another event. Great. 5, 6, 7, 8. All Germanic tribes on the lowest row go down 1. So he's a Germanic tribe on the lowest row. He goes down 1. That's nice. And that was event 8. Yeah, form a shield wall. So we formed a shield wall and it just pushed them back. What we're going to then do is we are going to do Anger of... Oh, and this guy was the second counter. So he comes out. They always appear on the 3rd row. So then we're going to roll the Germanic die. And the Germanic die was a 5. So everything that has a 5 activates. 3 and a 4, 3 and a 6, 2+. So 2+, he's going to do it for hit, goes straight to morale, and then he moves forward 1. And then we go again. We're going to roll that dice. It's a little bit better. Couple of 6s, a single 1, a 4, a 2, and a 3. So we do, I think at this point, we're going to spend a 6 to convert a 6 to a 5. And we're going to inflict another hit on... Here, let's do a hit on this guy. So that's done. All dice from chaos to ready, we'll do that. 1 to morale, we'll do that. And cohesion back to 4, it's kind of useless. So do we keep that there? That's the choices that you're starting to get into. I think we're just going to lose it, and we'll roll again next time. So then we're going to draw 2 chits for the Germanic tribes. The first one is this dude, and the next one is yet another event. We're going to have a dearth of events here later on. Oh no. Legate Nemunius Valor's cavalry breaks out. Lose 3 cohesion or 1 morale. And that's where you're like, oh, if only I'd left that 3 there. Great. We are going to lose the morale, I think. We're going to keep that cohesion, because if we roll poorly, we might take a lot of hits here. Then we're going to roll the Germanic die. And we roll a 3, which we did roll poorly. So we're going to take 1, 2, 3 hits. 1, 2, and 1 on morale, because of him with his M. And then they all move forward 1 step. And then we go again. We're going to keep on trucking. Oh my gosh, I can't roll a 5 for my life. If you roll multiple 5s, you get 1 hit to Germans or +2 for each additional 5. So there are times, if you roll 3 5s, you get 5 hits, and you can just push these guys right off the board. But that's what this game is. It's a game of kind of this, you know, these guys just keep coming, keep coming, keep coming. And we have a 3. So we're definitely going to do cohesion back to this. We will spend 1 to unlock that. +1 morale. And we will spend this to change this to this. So now we've got +1 to morale, +2 for each additional 2 used. So we're going to get 3 morale. 1, 2, 3. So we're kind of surviving, but we are not making any progress against these guys. I only killed 1, and they're getting closer and closer, which is, it's not good. This is very bad. It's going to escalate here very quickly, and we're going to get overwhelmed. So then we're going to pull 2 of these. First one is a unit that goes in the 3 space. Second one is event number 1. And event number 1, a group of legionaries has been cut off. Move a ready battle die to the chaos box. So that's unfortunate. Now it's our turn again. Back to the top. We're going to roll... Oh, no, not. It's easy. We're going to roll the Germanic dice. They're going to just swarm us here in a second. 5. Oh, gosh. So he's got a 5. He's got a 5. And he also has a 5. So we take 2 cohesion damage from these 2. And 1 morale damage from this guy. Now it's our turn. We've only got the 5 dice, because this chaos die is locked here. Yep. Well, I lost 1. Ah, here we go. This is what we're talking about. Okay, great. And I will just roll. I dropped 1, so we're just going to roll it into a 3. Great. Cohesion back to 4. Yes. We're going to spend 1 die to change this die into a 5. So like we said, we had 1 +2 for each additional 5. We got 5 hits. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, because that guy's very bad. Or you could just bat all of these back a bit, and we'll just, we will bump this guy back. It's, okay, so that's what we've got. Then we're going to pull 2 chits, and we have, the first one is an event, and it is event number 9. And event number 9 says, eliminate 1 Germanic tribe counter or gain 1 morale. We're definitely going to eliminate a guy, and we're going to eliminate this one. And the next guy is, oh my gosh, we've pulled all the events. That means there's just only Germanic tribes coming later. So this is event number 6. Lucius Egus proposes surrender. Shame. Lose 1 cohesion and 1 morale. Not great. Not terrible, but not great. So that was our 2 chits. Then we're going to roll for them. And we rolled a 5. So everyone with a 5 on them. Oh, gosh. Of course, it's these 2 dudes. So we're going to take 2 cohesion hits, and then they both move up. So now we really, the pressure's on to get these guys out, because if they both attack, we're going to take 4 damage just from those 2 guys. Let me just pick up my dice. Alright. So then we're going to roll our 5 dice, because this one is locked. Yeah, let's put it in the tower. Oh, this is an absolute, we have an absolute howler, mate. So all of these go on here. And as soon as we have 3 or more dice, we go back to ready, but we immediately draw a chit. And those don't do anything else for us, so we just put another guy out. But we do have 1 hit that we can do, so we'll get 1 of these guys out. And then we'll just pray that we don't roll a 4 or a 5, basically. Then, so that's the, and that happens extra. That's losing on our own turn. We're then going to draw 2 chits from the cup. The first one is another unit, and the second one is an event. It's event number 3, and it's the Gallic Auxiliaries defect. Lose 1 cohesion or 1 morale. This is a nightmare. We're going to lose a morale. I probably shouldn't do that, but we're going to. Great. Then they are going to roll, and they roll a 4. So everyone, of course. So he does 1 morale damage, and then moves up because he's got a 4. This guy has a 4 and does 2 damage. There's 1 to cohesion and then 1 to morale because there's no more cohesion to lose. And as you can see, this is not going very well. Then it's back to us. So we need lots and lots of hits, hopefully. And we rolled 1 hit. It's not great. We can get our cohesion back though. We had a pretty nice spread of things here. Okay. So cohesion back to 4. We definitely want to do that. Form the line. We've got one attack here. We can change one of these to a 5, so we're going to do 3 damage. All dice from chaos back to ready. That's useless. +1 morale. Yeah, we'll get a little bit of a morale back from this one. This is useless. That doesn't affect us. So we're going to do 3 hits with these 2 dice. And we're going to definitely get this guy 1, and 2, and 3. So we're just going to push them back this time. So then they're going to pull 2 chits. And the chits they pull is another event. 5, 6, 7. Restore cohesion to 4 or gain 1 morale. We'll gain the morale because we're already at 4 cohesion. And then, oh my gosh, another event. I swear those are mixed in there. You must take care of the wounded or they will be slaughtered. Place a ready for battle die to the chaos box or lose 1 morale. Okay, we'll do that. We can't afford the morale loss at this point. Then they're going to roll. And we rolled a 2, so everyone with a 2 is going to attack. And there aren't any. And this is one of the few things that happens here. If you do no damage, well, let's see. You gain 1 morale or gain 1 cohesion because there's not a single 2 or a 2+ to activate. So we're just going to gain a morale, have a little bit of a reprieve basically. And then it's back to the top. So we're going to roll here. Oh, come on. Okay, great. So we've got a 6, a 5, a 3, and 2 2s. So we can definitely get some morale back, which is nice. And we don't need cohesion back, so we're going to change this 6 is going to change this 3 to a 5. And then we'll get 3 cohesion back, but we can only, or 3 morale, so we only get 2, but we'll definitely do that. Then I've got 3 hits to inflict. Let's go 1, 2, 3. Let's do that. These guys that do straight morale, very, very bad. And so that's what we're doing. And then we're going to draw 2 morale chits. And our 2 little morale chits are going to be... Oh, not morale chits, just 2 chits. It's just guys. And we've used a lot of these events that have come up. And so it's just going to be hordes of guys coming out. And then we're going to roll them. They're going to do 5s. So we've got 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Not the end of the world. So now we've got our 5 dice to roll. Oh, that one's cocked. Ugh, gross. I wish I hadn't done that. 3, 4, 5. So these, every time there's 3 chaos die, they go to ready to battle, and then we pull a chit. Just kind of out of turn. You just lose a little bit more. Great. So we've got 1 hit. All action dice from chaos go to ready to battle. There's none there. So that's kind of useless at this point. 3 cohesion back to 4, absolutely. And then we've got 1 hit that we can do. We'll just beat one of these guys back. Done. Then they're going to pull 2 chits. And we have this dude and this dude. And so this guy has a D. If ever he attacks, a die goes from here to here as well. So those are very bad. The guys with the Ds on them and the M's on them, you want to eliminate as quickly as possible. Now they're going to attack. And we've got a 1. So we're going to take 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 1, 2, 3. This guy does a D damage, so he's going to lock one of our dice into chaos. Then we're going to roll our 5 dice. Oh, come on. Oh, we seem to have escaped. So one of these 4s brings both of these back into ready to battle. This gets us a morale back, which is useless. We don't need that anymore. So we're going to change this 6. Is going to change this 2 to a 5. Or, no, we got to change it to a 4. We got to get, no, to a 3. We got to change it to a 3 so we can get our cohesion back. We're going to play defensively. Ugh, or I need to beat that guy back. Well, that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. And now we're going to roll the Germanic tribes after we pull 2 more chits. It just escalates so quickly. So the first one, another dude. And we got another dude over here. Roll their die. Roll the 4. So everyone with a 4 is going to attack. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, gross. So that's all of our cohesion gone. Now we're going to attack back. So now this is where you're like, you desperately need as many 5s as possible to start pushing these guys back. And we did roll pretty well. That's not bad. So we've got 2 5s. We do have a 6, so we can get another one. We've got a 2, a 3, and a 1. So our 3 is going to get our cohesion back. We're going to use this 6 to change this 2 to a 5. So now we've got 5 hits that we can do. We've got to get these guys off of the front row. 1, 2, and then we will go 3, 4, 5, because we can't afford to have these dice keep getting locked. But yeah, as you can see, this has escalated very quickly, and we're all of a sudden in a lot of threat. We still have good cohesion and morale, but this is gonna, this is gonna skyrocket here real bad. So we've got a couple extra guys coming out. Not great. And then they're gonna roll, doing a 5. That's not good. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 4 hits plus 1 onto the morale. So then it's us again. We're going to roll our 5 dice. Oh, that's an extremely good roll. We might be able to save our bacon here. Okay, so we're going to spend our 4 to get our 1 back. 3 is going to put our cohesion back to 4. And we have another 5 hits. We're definitely going to kill this guy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright. That's what we're doing. Then they're going to pull 2 chits. And we have here these 2 dudes. And then we're going to roll for them, because it's not punishing enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're going to take 6 hits. 4, 5, 6. Yep, because 2 of those were morale hits, so they went on the morale, and the first 4 just went on regular cohesion. Great. So yeah, we were all really good like 2 turns ago, and now it's an absolute shocker. So we're going to roll everything, hoping for lots of 5s, which we did not get. That's not good. Lots of 3s, which is entirely useless. You only ever need 1 3. 2 and 4. Wow, that's very bad. We are going to we're going to use this 6 to change one of these 3s to a 5 to get 1 hit. And we'll just use that hit to push 1 guy back. This gets us +1 morale. Both of these get cohesion back up to 4. And this is useless. So not great. We got 2 more chits to pull. And the first one is a unit. And the second one is an event. Event number 11. Return all dice from the chaos box to the ready for battle box. Great. Wonderful. Don't have any. So now we're going to roll for them. And they roll a 5. So everyone with a 5 is going to attack. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1 on morale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1 on morale. If ever this morale gets to 0, we immediately lose, which looks like it's going to happen this turn. So we have to roll like all 5s, which we did not do. Oh, that's very bad. So we've got 1s, 4s, a 2, a 6, and a 5. So we're going to spend this 6 to change. Oh. Well, I don't think it really matters. We're going to change our... we're going to change our 2 to a 5. So we've got 3 hits. And then we're going to get our dice back. So we've got 3 hits. We can push 3 of these guys back. 1, 2, 3. This is a lost cause we're about to lose. So that's done with. And then we're going to get 2 more chits from the cup. The first one is a unit. And the second one is another unit. And then we're going to roll for them. And roll a 5. So now we're going to take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's already over and we lose immediately. So that's how the game works. That was, that's the whole game. It takes about 20 minutes or so. And in the cup there's 3 more chits. So you've got to get all of them out and then kill all of them. So like we're not even kind of close to winning basically. So I've played more where I've done a lot more damage. We had a lot of events early on, which was very strange. Some of those, when they come out a bit more evenly, can help you through the course of the game. But what we'll do is we'll wrap up with a few final thoughts. So that's how the game functions. Again, you're going to find it in C3i issue 35, which is the issue that has Burma, The Forgotten War from Mark Herman. Ton of great stuff in that issue of C3i. And then you get this. And this is probably a theme with this. You're not going to go out and spend $40 for C3i to get this game. But you're going to spend $40 on C3i and you will get this game. So this is a really, really nice addition to C3i. It's very enjoyable. I liked this one, I'm going to say probably a lot more. It's not the other one's bad. It's just very, very light. This one's got a little bit more to it. It was just more interesting, rolling the dice and assigning your actions, and maybe you want to keep dice there to resolve those actions later, or maybe you didn't. And so there was decisions based on whether or not to keep your dice there and preserve them, or just to re-roll them next time. When you're using those 6s to change other dice, which dice do you do, which actions do you desperately need to take? And then it's the tension of pulling those chits out of the cup. Is it going to be some events? Are those events going to be good or bad? Or is it just going to be more enemies? How many enemies can I kind of push back? And it's very hard to kind of keep all those enemies at bay. Eventually, there's so many of them. Do I push a bunch back or do I push one off? And those decisions feel good to kind of do, and you see the consequences of your actions very quickly in this game as well. So I had a really good time with this one. So I have, I hope they keep doing these. It's a great addition to C3i, and I hope we get, more kind of like this, where there's a little bit more to it. I don't know, I just thought the decisions in this one were a bit more meaningful. I liked the kind of the 20 to 30 minute playtime more than the kind of 10 to 15 with the other one. I just thought, if I'm going to kind of set this up, I get a little bit extra out of it, but it's still a perfect lunch break game. This is the game. You just put this out. You could even have it in a drawer at your desk at work. Not advocating that you do that on work time, but you could. Have a little dice tray, roll your dice, assign the dice, do your actions, kind of rinse and repeat, and you keep going through this swirling battle as more and more guys come, and you're trying to hold your line integrity. Really, really fun game for what it is. Again, this is an SPQR. This isn't Great Battles of History. It's not some grand thesis with a lot of crunch and depth to it in that sense, but it's a really fun way to read a couple paragraphs of history and then to kind of play it out. And, it's extremely punishing, extremely difficult. And so you'll play it a few times before you even get close to winning it. And that's kind of what you want in one of these light solitaire games that effectively is something free you get with another product that you were already going to get anyway. So if you've got any interest in this kind of thing, check out C3i, because you get a ton of great stuff in there, and there's an excellent magazine, great interviews, great articles in there. And then you're also starting to pick up these kinds of things, which is just a really neat addition. So I'm very happy about that. Very happy about the direction that they're taking with adding little bits and pieces like that. So kudos to whoever it was that decided that. Presumably Roger was like, yeah, let's do this kind of thing. So thank you very much for including those. They're a great addition to the magazine, and they're just a little fun, extra, again, small, light game that you get in there on top of the kind of regular, pretty hardcore hex and kind of war games that you can get in some of these. So appreciate you very much for tuning in. This was kind of a look at Roma Disaster at Teutoburg. Appreciate you tuning in. I've been Alexander from theplayersaid.com.